Hi, Ruth here. Welcome to my channel Health-thru-Freedom. When I started this channel, my intention was to help you with tips on burnout and stress, but the need around me with burnout patients became so much more that I really had to stop a while here on YouTube and dedicate myself to prepare my consulting room, to move to another place and to prepare things in such a way that I could serve my patients the way I really like to serve my patients. So today I'm not going to interview, but I'm going to be the one to be interviewed. And the person that's going to interview me is the strong-willed, beautiful Alexandra Rihm, the General Manager of United Spaces, the office hotel I've got my office in.
Thank you for the introduction, Ruth, and really nice to have you here.
Thank you.
So we have a lot of different companies that rents from us, and now we also have you and your company. And you are a medical doctor, so I will today ask you a little bit more regarding that. But can you please give us an introduction about you first, so we can get to know you a little bit more?
When people usually ask me about me, I think they're expecting that I talk about my job. And for me, there are two different things. There is who I am and what I do. So what I am, I'm Ruth. I was born 51 years ago in Mozambique. I grew up in South Africa, Zimbabwe, started school in the island of Madeira. And everyone says, the island where Cristiano Ronaldo is from. Yes, that island. So I became a medical doctor, and throughout the years I studied and worked even. I lived in Portugal. I'm Portuguese. But I've been living in Sweden since 2015. I came here to work and to live, and it's been the country that I'm still in love with since the day I came. So a little bit of whom I am. The most important thing about my life is that I have two wonderful daughters that are my world. My work is, I'm a medical doctor. I specialized in family medicine. So I was a family doctor in Portugal many years. And then when I came to Sweden, then I started working in the various health centers, but even in occupational health, which has been really interesting because I love to work with burnout and stress. And with occupational health, it's really helped me to be able to have time for my patients, to sit with the employer, to sit with the employee, and to really work out the best way and the best treatment for my patients. And it's great. So apart from that, and I work presently with a company, occupational health company, but apart from that, I have got my own office here in United Spaces.
But I also heard that you do some consultation online. Is that correct?
Oh, that's correct, because I've got many patients still in Portugal that still want to see me, and they can't because I'm in Sweden. So I have consultations online with Portugal, in Portuguese obviously, and then I have consultations online with other people from other countries. And Sweden, when I live in Gothenburg, and there are people from north of Sweden, for example.
Where does your YouTube channel fit in all of this?
I thought it could be like a hobby, and where I could help people. Because when we look at Sweden, we look at a very structured place where burnout is, people talk a lot about burnout. There's a lot of investigation on treatment, so burnout is very real. And the treatment plan is also very good if people are interested in following, of course. But so you have, for example, in Sweden, you have the possibility when you are already better and you can start working again, you have the possibility to start working 25%, 50%, 75% until 100%. And there are many, many countries where that's not a reality. And the support in the burnout process, the support on, when a person is stressed out and depressed is not so much. And when it comes to burnout, there's a lot of taboo still, which is involved. And people think, oh, I've got these symptoms. It's because I'm weak. So my purpose with the YouTube channel started to be to support people outside Sweden. Especially, of course, all the Swedes are important and all the Swedes are welcome, of course. But I thought of it would be like a support to people that don't have the same kind of support we have here in Sweden. I have to stress nevertheless, that this YouTube channel will also lift up organizations that work for the good of mankind, especially to do with children.
So what would you say is your biggest passion in your work?
To see people free. I think it's a right we are born with, and it's really important that sometimes we get a bit of aid to see where we could get that freedom from and how we can reach freedom, because we can.
Is that why the name of your YouTube channel is Health-thru-Freedom?
Yeah, that's right. My channel started thinking precisely on the freedom that people get when they go through a treatment process, when they can be free of so much that sometimes they're not really aware of. And I believe, and I'm a strong believer, that to be really healthy, you have to be free. Free of that which, burdens you in life, be it physical, be it psychological. But you have the right to that freedom.
How can one person understand the wholeness of burnout?
One can understand the wholeness if you break it down. Sometimes when someone comes to you and is all stressed out, is depressed or burned out, one cannot see, one just sees, a black hole. One cannot see the details. So that's why it's so important to really sit with someone and to try and understand, And what I usually do with my patients is I try to, break it down. I try to sit with the person, try to understand everything about that person so that the person himself or herself understands also. It's important that they understand. So is there, for example, some imbalance? And you can talk about imbalance in vitamins, in hormones. Is there anything else in their lives, like, trauma, for example, a question of personality? So there is so much that you can just dig to understand the symptoms. So once you've understood, and it's a lot that you have to understand here, once you've understood the person themselves, then you have to understand the circumstances around the person. How is it in the job situation? But not only in the job situation, because we are, the human being is not just one part, and we are that wholeness. But we need to understand that wholeness. So the job is really important to understand what's going on at the job. Is there an overload of work, for example? But also the private sector. Is the person a family person? Is a person responsible for example, elderly parents? So there is so much around when we talk about the circumstances. So we break it down, We can go down to the lifeline. What has happened? Even the positive things that have happened in a person's life, like having kids, for example. It is wonderful, but it requires energy. So we understand the real wholeness, but we have to sit down, listen, and understand the bits.
What would you say is the 3 most important things for you to get out from a burnout?
Well, there is a lot that's important, but if I have to choose 3 important words, I would say 1 is decision, definitely. You have to decide you want to get out of the burnout. You have to decide now is the day. So I'm not going to try and postpone it even more. Now is the day I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to ask for help, for example. To decide to be compliant also to the treatment process, to go with it. Another thing when I talk to my patients about, they can be a bit, what's that, is forgiveness. Forgiveness is another word which I find is very, very important. What do I mean by forgiveness? With forgiveness, I don't mean that a person has to just accept whatever happens to themselves, but it's letting go of that which burdens your life. So in a work situation, for example, where you can blame the work system, you can blame your boss, or in the family, where you can blame those that don't understand you, or you can blame yourself. That how can I have done this to myself? How could I not say no more often? Why did I let myself come to this point of a total burnout? And there is so much blame. And after we've digged all the important bits, after we've understood all the important angles, then we have to build up, right? We have to build up a sound person, a sound mind, a sound way of doing things. And to build up a sound situation, we have to clean the ground. And that is what I mean by forgiveness, is not letting what happened burden your life anymore or influence your life anymore. And that's what I mean, when I sit down with my patient, okay, now it's time to clean out. It doesn't mean that things do not have to be rectified, of course, but overall, it's not just a question of burnout, but forgiveness is a really, really powerful tool, that you let go of something that's a burden for you, that occupies your mind, and you let go for your own freedom so that you can occupy your mind with the right stuff, with the right things to go forward in life. So that's another word. The third word, I would say, it actually includes the other two, and that would be choice. Because even when you're not choosing, you are choosing. You're choosing not to choose, right? You're choosing not to do anything about something. So choice is one of my favorite words ever, because it's something that we are always doing. We're always choosing. So you choose to decide to get out of your burnout. You choose to decide to seek help. And you choose to forgive. You choose to do everything you can and you have in your power to go forward in life.
So what is the biggest advice for someone to want to get out from a burnout?
I would say my biggest advice is choose right. And when I say choose right, is choose not only to get out of the burnout, not only to choose freedom instead of that, limiting situation where you find yourself in, but choose right to find the right people also. Choose to find people that understand about what a burnout is, that can sit with you and be with you in this voyage. But three things that are really crucial is to be listened to be understood, and to understand. And if you are a professional, it's very important that you are in the same voyage as the person. You are with the person, you sit with the person, you listen to the person without judging. That's very important, because everyone is different. We're all different.
What is the biggest need a burned out person has?
I would say the same thing, really. The need to know that people understand our limitations. Not that I'm a victim, I'm no victim, right? But that I'm not feeling well to be there. People understand. Very important that people understand also what a burnout is. I mean, just if you want to help a friend, just read it up. Don't just make your own judgments, because that's the worst thing you can do to someone that's burned out. When someone is burned out, it's not because one is weak. It's not because one doesn't care. It's because one cares a lot, one has worked a lot, and it's just been too much. And it's not someone that is weak. It's someone that is strong, resilient, but not a machine, which is great, right? So understanding is something that we all should do, not just as patients, but as people around those patients, if we really want to help out.
Thank you so much, Ruth, for coming and talking with us today. We are really happy to have you here, and I am really happy to have you as a friend. So,
same here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much that you were on the channel also, and I was the one interviewed. Yeah. So good.
Thank you.
It's a bit different. Great. Thank you so much. We see each other in the next post.